Hi Flosstube. I'm trying to adjust this. It's Diane. Today is November 22nd, 2020. Almost Thanksgiving here in the US. So if I forget to say it later, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving no matter how you're celebrating. We are going to be hosting and maybe some of our adult children are going to come. I don't know. We will see. We will see what happens. I usually don't go to my parents because it's such a long trip and travel this time of year can be iffy, although the weather so far this fall has been awesome. Yeah, we've had some cold days and some snow, but overall it's been really, really nice. The kids are supposed to be cleaning and vacuuming, so you're going to hear them arguing and you're going to hear the vacuum go on and off. Fair warning. But I wanted to get this done. What have I been doing? I haven't been doing as much stitching because this time of year I tend to do more quilting, so I have more quilting to show than stitching, but I do have some stitching. I picked this up at my quilt shop, Sip and Rip. Applies to quilting, it applies to stitching. Because when I show you my one project, oh, there it is. Found a huge error last night, so I'm going to fudge it because there's no way I'm ripping everything out. I think you'll agree with me when you see it. But when they go deer hunting this time of year, I tend to get in the mood to quilt and sew and do the things. So that's what I'm going to show you mostly in this video. The first thing I had on my list was to finish child number 6's queen size quilt. I have a goal of making all 14 children a queen size quilt, and so his is done, but it's at the long armors right now, so I don't have it to show you. But my second thing on my list was to bind this guy, and I've shown this in the past. Oops, I got it upside down. There's a right, an up, and a down on this particular piece, but I did the binding. So this is the All-Star quilt. It is by Quilt in a Day, and it's roughly, I think it's roughly 60 by 60. Yeah, I think it's roughly 60 by 60 or 64 by 64. But I'm going to show you kind of one quadrant at a time, and maybe I'll pause and hang it up there so you can see it for the rest of the video. But I got the binding on, and the bluebirds are all going the right way. That's what makes it directional. This has words on it, but they're not directional, and they're wintry words. Twirling and dancing in the moonlight, tumbling, winter cheer, I said blizzard, flurries, brisk, words you'd use for fun in the winter. And then here's the big star in the middle. And we have a side. So I'm going to pause it here for a minute and I'll hang it. You know, I'm going to put it over here on this chair. So just hold for a moment, please. Okay, and then again, it's the All-Star or All Stars. I can't remember if it's plural or not. It's by Quilt in a Day. To my knowledge, it's still in print. So I've shown it before, and it has a beautiful quilting on the back with snowflakes and swirls. But I got the binding on, so now this is ready to go on my wall. This is not one that goes on a bed, and I knew that when I made it. I just have to buy the... There are different ways to hang quilts on a wall, and I know what one I want, so I just need to get it and put it on my wall. Then I also did the Tale of Two Gnomes. This is by Cotton Street Commons, and this one shows the mushrooms. There's a picture here that shows the Christmas trees, and that's the version that I did. I like the trees better than the mushrooms, although on the On this mushroom picture, I love the polka dots. So I had shown you fabric that I had chosen to do this quilt in blues and silvers and grays, wintry, and I finished it. Now I used the same fabric for the background of the squares and the background of the quilt, so they kind of look like they're floating a little bit. But here's gnome number 1, tree number 1, or large tree, and this guy is gnome number 2. He's got the sawtooth beard and the smaller tree. And I really like how this turned out. This one is going to be mine that I can curl up in, keep the dogs off, because my dogs think that if there's a blanket they can lay on it. And there are 8 gnomes total, 4 of each type. I showed that one. The way I did it, my trees are all the same, fabrics in the same places. And on my gnomes, the beards are all the same and the noses are all the same, but the hats and the feet change. And one more set. And I did kind of fussy cut, particularly this one with the birds, so I got the birds, so I got the birds on his hat in a good place. But I think it turned out cute. And I'm not sure how I want to quilt it. Yeah, this one I'm not sure. But when I went to my quilt shop, I went there for a totally different reason. They had this fabric. And this fabric is called Timber Gnomies. It was perfect for this quilt. So I did this quilt twice. Here's this guy, and if you look at this gnome right here, it says timber. So that is actually gnome number 2. Now the trees on this are almost the same as on the other one, except this fabric is here and this fabric is here. They all have the same center fabric because I had enough. And I'm like, I'll just use what I have. So there's gnome, it's actually gnome number 2, but I'll show you all the gnomes. So the beard, it was from my stash, the background was from my stash, the noses were from my stash. I chose that all of this is gnome number 1 with the triangle beard, that they all had the red and black. And all of the gnomes number 2 on this quilt have the white and black check. But then their hats are all different. And their hats do come from the Timber Gnomies line. And apparently the Timber Gnomies, it's by Henry Glass, and it's very popular. So here's this guy. And these are not snowmen, they're snow gnomes. You see the snow gnome? Yeah, I like that one. But this is probably my favorite one in this quilt because it has the beavers. That was really cute. And then this one, red snowflake. And the check gnome. And again, the gnomen, not the snowman. So I think this turned out really well, and I used this background is also part of the Timber Gnomies line. I think it turned out cute. And the designer, when I was getting ready to cut the fabric, there are templates in this particular pattern. And I was missing some of the templates. So I contacted her and I said, I've looked through everything I have. And there's these 4 can't remember if it's 4 or 5 templates that I'm missing, and I was very specific. Can I just somehow get those without having to buy another pattern? She was so gracious, and she sent them to me via PDF. Her name is Marcia. I think it's how you say it, Marcia, or maybe it's Marcy. Blanking on her last name. I want to say Owens. And I can't find it. Anyway, I contacted them through their website, and I'm going to link their website below because this is available as a PDF pattern also. You don't have to get the hard copy in case you're interested in this pattern. And they have some other quilt patterns. These are my templates. They also have some other quilt patterns that I've been looking at. There's one with the reindeer that I think is so cool. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to hang the quilts back here. Hold, please. Okay. Oops. So I'm thinking on quilting on this guy is on his beard. It'd be kind of cool to have vertical stripes, vertical lines, and maybe echo the gnome a little bit, but then kind of cross hatch. I think would look really good on this one. On this guy, I'm not sure because the background, both backgrounds, the background of the blocks and the background of the quilt are the same, so they're kind of floating more than this one. And the designer thought this was pretty whimsical, and she thought this was pretty cool, wintry, but they have very different looks. And I did post pictures on Instagram, mondotstitches on Instagram, so you can see the full. I had my tall boys hold them up for me. But I did that, and I also did project bags. So let me show you. I showed this fabric before in my DeBears video. So this is kind of icons of the U.S. You have Mount Rushmore flag. This is Constitution or Declaration. This one's the Declaration and the Constitution are both in there. And then we have Skyline. I'm thinking that's New York. And then we have Statue of Liberty, Golden Gate, Liberty Bell. I grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, so this one is what drew my attention, and then I chose just a red to kind of set it off. All the linings are just from my stash. And of course the eagle. And then this one with the animals, kind of mosaic animals. And in that video called The Bears, I can't remember the number, I tried to give you as much information about the fabrics as I possibly could and where I picked them up from. And there's this one, the bookshelf. What I didn't realize until I was working on that particular description box, this fabric is designed by Amy Stewart. And if you are familiar with Heaven and Earth Designs, yes, it's the same Amy Stewart. And then being a Marine mom, Nora. And he's trying to come home for Christmas. We will see. They tend to do blocks where this much of the base is on Christmas and this much and different time frames, and then motorcycles, because Rapid City is about a half hour from Sturgis, South Dakota, with a big bike rally every year. And contrary to what Hollywood wants you to believe, 95 or more % of bikers are the nicest, most generous people you will ever meet. They're very polite. They're very, this is their hobby. This is how they just take a break from everything else. Yeah, you have a few troublemakers, but considering the fact that Rapid City and Sturgis and the surrounding area can have anywhere from 400,000 to 1 million motorcycles, as in the bikes, not the number of people, because you could have 2 people on a bike. And the percentage of troublemakers is very, 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 very small, is a testimony to that. And then, of course, gnomes. And I found this, I liked that they aren't the cartoony gnomes. They're kind of the sweatery, Norse gnomes. I really, really liked that. And this here, they're all lined up. So I have all the fabric information in that video. I don't know if this store, which I also have information in the video on, I don't know if they still have fabric or not, but hopefully I've given you everything. I try to give pattern numbers and any name I could find. This is also from the Timber Gnomies line, and you can see here's the gnome men. They're all lined up. And then the opposite. So these are all bags. I'm not selling bags. If you want project bags, there are some fabulous sellers. So Much to Love, Garon, Made by Mama Joan, Stitch and Button. Those are the 4 that come to mind. Kindred Stitcher sometimes sells them. Yeah, and I know that Stitching with the Sisterlies always talks about somebody, and I'm blanking on who it is right now. So yeah, there are bag makers out there. So if you want a project bag, go to them. They will gladly help you. So that's kind of haul, I guess, because now I have project bags to put stuff in and get stuff out of zippy bags. Went to Stitchville yesterday. They're not having their Black Friday sale this year. Bummer. Because of COVID restrictions. But she's doing, check her Facebook page for announcements. But I got some floss drops. These are the Jean Farish style. And let's put that one down. I also picked up Grateful, Thankful, and Blessed by Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. I blame this on Saltbox Stitcher. She showed this piece all framed, and it's beautiful. And you know, this time of year with Thanksgiving, especially with how 2020 has been, we need to take time just to be grateful for what we have. And yeah, we just need to get into that mindset. I also picked up Starlet. This was the release from last month. Nora Corbet, Mirabilia, Nora Corbet. This definitely is more her classic style, and I really love it. There's only 1 bead in this entire thing. So if you're nervous about doing beads, this might be a pattern. Now she's not small. Most mirrors are not too, she would need to be on a fat quarter. But if you want to try a mirror and you're nervous about all the beads, this would be a good one because there's only 1 bead. And it's 2077, which I think it's a reddish bead, so it's probably somewhere in this wrap here. But it would help you avoid the beads. Excuse me. And I also picked up, this one's been on my list for a little while. Teresa Kogut, man that I love. Love this. It's probably my favorite section. But I love the strawberries. They look like strawberries in the middle. Along here. It's beautiful. I don't know when I'm going to stitch it, but it's been on my list for a while, so I picked it up. And I also picked up the Pandemic Sampler by Saucy Girl. I will try and link it below if I can. And I picked up some needles, which I needed. And this goes into one of my project bags. Put it there so I can put it in the right bag. I'm part of the Cotton of the Month Club from Fiberlicious, and these are some previous ones. But I wanted to show, this is this month's, the Autumnal Palette. I'm sorry, Autumnal Orchard Color Palette. It's beautiful. They are, she has the names on here. Rambling Rose, Fading Rose, Herb Garden, Sage, and Olive Vines. And those are just beautiful. So Rambling Rose, Fading Rose, Herb Garden, Sage, and Olive Vine. So I've got to add those into my stash. Put those up there so I don't step on them. Needles and feet, not fun. And then quilting, Fat Quarter Shop does a daily deal, and this was a daily deal last month sometime. Autumn Beauties, it's 15 fat quarters, or maybe it's 14 fat quarters in a panel. But some of the fat quarters in here, there are like 4 of them, and I was thinking of buying the fabric by itself, and then here's the whole collection. So I bought the whole collection. Don't know what I'm going to use these for, and I kept them all in the plastic and all wrapped up because it just looks so pretty sitting on my shelf that way. I think that's one reason we all like going into quilting shops, because you look at the wall and everything's just orderly. And then I go home and nothing's orderly in my house. So what have I been stitching? I have been working on the Historic Countries sampler. I will link the Facebook group below. I don't have a cover photo, but I am stitching it with a mix of Carrie's Creation cottons and some Gentle Arts on 40 count white. And I'm still working on the Holland block. So here's England down to here. And this is the Ireland through here. And then this is the Holland. So I had the ship done, but I didn't have the other stuff done. I just kind of lost my steam on this a little bit, but it is definitely on my radar to get back to it, because in November I should actually be stitching on Spain, the next one. But yeah, I just kind of lost my steam on it a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. I think part of it with deer season and prepping and all of that, and then being in the mind to quilt, kind of lost my mojo. And we had 5 tags. We filled 3 of them. And my 12-year-old daughter, first year hunting, first day, got her first buck. That's the way to hunt, in my opinion. And she didn't have to get up at 4 in the morning, and Freezer took us off to do it. Then there's this one. This is... I have the picture. Do I? Sorry, I thought I had the picture out. Let me get the picture out. It is the Rose Quaker. I will link the pattern designer below. It's German. I don't want to butcher it. And because of COVID, if you contact them, you can purchase a pattern. So contact them, say you're interested in purchasing a pattern. Once you pay for it, they will arrange for you to get a PDF copy. I'm not sure if 100% of their patterns are available that way, but a couple of them are. And I believe this is one that is. I know that Autumn Forest Quaker is available via PDF. And then just honor their copyright. And give credit where credit's due. Stitching 1 strand of the called for DMC on 40 count flax. And here is where I was able to get to. 2 motifs completely done, and I started working on the letter Z. The colors are just amazing on this. They're very, very, very nice. And I like this flax to stitch on, whether it's 36 count or 40 count. Sorry, dog hair. Phew. I don't let them in my room yet. I get dog hair in here all the time. But I will link that below. I don't want to butcher their name. And if it takes me a couple days to get the information, make the information available, please just be patient. Oh, this is where that goes. But I didn't stitch on that, so I'll put that over there. Okay, the one I've been working on the most is by Rosewood Manor, Arise My Soul. I saw this at Galleria. It's beautiful. And then last night I was stitching on it and I realized I messed up. But you know what? I'm going to fudge it. This is... I'm trying to find the tag so I can tell you what the fabric is. I can't remember if it's 36 or 40. Oh, come on. One of these corners has the tag. Here it is. 36 count Lakeside Linen Vintage River Willow. I am using the called for threads, 1 strand over 2 threads, and I messed up. Here is where it's at. And yes, that is the bottom where you see the red flower. That is the bottom of the sampler. I started this in March at Race to a Finish. That's an event that my guild has. This tree is off 1 column, but I went with it. And then last night I realized, I don't know, I looked at the pattern several times, and for some reason I did it this way. This whole section here should be down 1 whole row. I am not taking all that stitching out. No. But I do need to take out the blue line and just redesign it a little bit. But the colors are just beautiful, and I am not taking all that out. So I'm going with it, and I'll fix that 1 row, and then nobody will ever know. You'll never know when it's on the wall. That's the one that has caught my attention the most, and I've been stitching on the most when I've been stitching. Because again, I've been sewing more than anything else. I also received my Van Morrison from Traditional Stitches. I'll link their shop below. I don't know if they have any more available. You can ask. If they say no, okay. If they say no. It's an exclusive from Hands Across the Sea for their 20th anniversary. And of course, no pattern can travel alone. So I also purchased the Nativity Berry from Erica Michaels. And this is the one that has the piece of silk gauze in it. I know she's having an issue with supply of silk gauze. So some of her kits may have silk gauze and some of them may not. She calls this is the silk berry collection, and there's the linen berry collection. So it's the same pattern, but it's designed for linen. And you can actually see both right here. So here's the silk berry that I have, and there's the linen, and they're both beautiful. I love nativities. I love nativities. And Hallmark used to have some really good nativity ornaments, and lately they haven't. And it's just, if you can have SpongeBob be a Christmas ornament, you can make a nativity ornament. Hello, why do you think we're bothering with Christmas in the first place? And you can make them not so ugly. Anyway, with that being said, this year's Christmas ornament, I used to get the Hallmark ornaments. I don't anymore. Been very, very unhappy with them. So I went on Etsy, and being Norwegian, now that I have my family history and I need to, over kind of winter break, I'm going to dig into that a little more. So I found a plate, and this is a sled that is painted, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Rosemale or Rosemale. It is a style of painting that is very common in Norway and Sweden and Denmark and Finland, the Scandinavian countries. But these are Norwegian influenced ornaments. There's a candy bar in my bag. I don't know why. But for the kids, so that sled one is for my husband and myself, because I get one for each. And then I get one for the kids that's personalized. So then when they have their own tree someday in their own house, they can have ornaments from their childhood. And these are what I got for the girls. I got the girls the red ones. And again, painted in the Rosemale style. There we go. And on the back it says their names with the year. I choose to not share my children's names on this media. But she also had a light blue snowflake. So half the boys are light blue. And they all have their names in the back with the year. And half the boys are dark blue. think she did a fabulous job. These are all hand painted. She may have bought the forms somewhere, but they're all hand painted. And I will link her shop below. Her name is Tracy. And she was really, really, I got a little card from her. She was really great to work with because I said, you know, I need a large amount. And the first one that I was interested in getting, she didn't have enough, but we went back and forth via private message, and she was great to work with. I thought it was a fair price. It was actually cheaper than it would be if I bought the Hallmark ornaments because I bought such a large amount. It had free shipping. And I don't know if you can see. No, you can't read it. The clear on the red is hard to read. But Olsen, O-L-S-E-N trademarks. And I will link her Etsy shop below. She had a lot of cute things. Not necessarily, they aren't all Norwegian. They do tend to be more a Scandinavian influence. But if you're interested, you can look. And with that being said, when I went to Stitchville yesterday, the main reason I went was to kit up Anne, because Anne is going to be my new year, new start. And someone commented that they're interested in starting it with me. Join me. Come to the dark side. So I picked up Havana. I know it's very different than what's shown on the cover. But somebody else in the group that's on Facebook, and I'll link that below, showed a darker linen that I can't remember what they were choosing, and so I thought, oh, I like that. And then I didn't know, but Stitchville carries a lot of the 103s, so I was able to. I've never stitched with the 103s, so that's going to be new for me. So here's 5 of the colors on the linen, and 3 more on the linen, and 2 more. And then Stitchville didn't have all, but they did have the Avera Soie. So any that aren't the 103 are going to be Avera Soie. So the whole thing will be silk. Hold on. It's not as easy to hold these. I was trying to figure out how to organize them, and someone in the group showed get a lipstick organizer. I don't wear lipstick, so I didn't even think about it, but they showed it and they had all their spools and lipstick. So that's what I'm going to do. Put all of mine in a lipstick organizer and have her reside in this bag that I made. Because she had to have her own special bag, and this is the bag I made. I don't know what the fabric line is. There was nothing on the selvage. But I thought it was just beautiful, beautiful fabric. And then they had some fat quarters on sale at the quilt shop, and so this is the interior. So that's where my Anne is going to reside. And I'm starting her, I know the official date for this stitch along is December 5th of 2020 with the end date of December 5th, 2021. That's easy for me to remember because that's my husband's birthday. I am starting her January 1st with the goal of having her done by December 5th, 2021. With that being said, I think that's all. Oh, I did want to mention, YouTube is changing something that even if you don't monetize your videos, which I don't monetize my videos, they may add ads. So I don't know if they're going to add in the beginning, the middle. There is nothing I can do about that. I still plan on making videos, but please realize I am not monetizing, and I hope they chose decent videos, or excuse me, decent ads if ads appear in my videos, but I have no control over that. And that's going to be true with a lot of Flosstubers that don't monetize. All of a sudden videos are going to have ads in them. It's YouTube. They changed something, or they will be changing something in the next few months. We have no control over that. So I'm just going to be upfront about it, and I don't know what to say. But last video I talked about that it was my 6th YouTube anniversary, or a couple videos ago, whatever it was. And so to celebrate my 6th anniversary on Flosstube, and the fact that I've hit my goal of losing 20 pounds this year, I have more to lose and I still have other goals, but exercise regularly is in there, although I do have to talk myself into doing it, I will admit. But I think a lot of people that exercise regularly, many days you have to talk yourself into doing it, but then you know you feel better afterward. Anyway, to celebrate both of those things, I had enough. So I showed you my and bag. I had enough fabric to make another and bag with this interior and another and bag, same interior. And then I had enough gnome fabric to make a little one, a little guy. I think he's just gray on the inside. Oh, no, he's not. So, this guy is probably closer to 13 by 10, 13 by 11, where this one, I should say my original fabric, I cut 14 by 11 on this fabric. So allowing for seam allowances and any trimming I had to do gives you an idea. This guy I originally cut at 16 by 13, which is my normal size bag that I do. And I put a little charm on the zippers. I don't often do that on my own, but so this is the giveaway. Please do not use the word giveaway, free, win, contest, any of the troll words. Avoid those, because there are people that literally get on YouTube just to win stuff and to turn around and sell it themselves. I would like these to actually go to stitchers that will use them. And no, I'm not going to be selling bags, but I made extra bags as a giveaway. Because there's only 3 of them, I will send anywhere in the world. But please realize, with postage, timing, and COVID, and I know there's VAT taxes and other stuffs, I have no control over that, but I will send it to you. And hopefully I'll have a tracking number so we can figure out where it's at if you are international. If you're domestic, I'll try and have a tracking number too, because I sold something on eBay, not stitching related. I sent it out in August. She finally received it last week, but she'd already bought, and I refunded her, and I'm like, you know what, it was homeschool stuff. I said, just pass it on to somebody. I'm not worried about getting it back and making money off of it. So essentially, I totally lost money on that deal, but it wasn't her fault. It wasn't my fault. We both did everything right. We both did everything correct way. It wasn't eBay's fault either. She put in a missing mail thing from her end. She's in Michigan. They couldn't find it. I put a missing mail thing. They couldn't find it. So then there's another step. Lo and behold, they found it. I don't understand. I don't understand. But anyway, also realize that when I send them, I will probably send them folded somehow in a padded envelope. But they're cotton. Press them out, iron them. They'll be good. And they're project bags. Okay. It's not brain surgery. They're project bags. And yeah, I do want them to look nice for you, but that being said, don't look too closely at my sewing. My corners aren't all perfectly straight and all of that stuff, but it's a project bag. It doesn't have to be. I'm also going to link Suzette Primitive Stitchers tutorial because that's who I follow sewing wise, and although her measurements are smaller than mine, I just prefer this size. It works really well for me, and I can usually put 2 projects in here. So I usually try and put 2 associated projects. For example, in this guy, this has, no, not this one. In this guy, Rose Quaker's in here, but so is Autumn Quaker. Autumn Forest Quaker. So I try and put a couple in there. And my husband's like, oh, so now you have enough project bags. Silly man. Silly man. No, I don't. Does your gun vault have enough guns? Well, no. But that being said, don't be surprised if they do arrive folded. But I will send them anywhere in the world. And if you are interested, yes, you can enter for all 3 bags, but you can only win 1. So if this is bag number 1 and I draw your name, then you're not eligible for bag 2 or 3. If you're interested in this guy, and again, originally he was 14 by 11, but he's probably closer to 13 by 10, maybe. It's lined, fully lined. So, and your scissors shouldn't disappear in the bag somewhere beyond where scissors normally go. Use the word gnome, G-N-O-M-E, gnome. If you're interested in this bag or this bag, and they're identical, well, the fabric pattern might be just cut a little different, use the term rose, R-O-S-E. And yes, you can enter for both patterns. Please use that in your comment, and then I will know that you are interested in the drawing. I'm going to send anywhere in the world, but again, realize with timing and postage and all the things that it may take time. I am going to close this giveaway on December 28th, the last Monday in December of 2020, and then I will do a video sometime that week announcing the winners. And I will try and comment on that person's comment also, if possible. Sometimes that doesn't work as well on YouTube, their messaging forum thingy. But that is my giveaway. And to thank you guys for, some of you watch me all 6 years. And, you know, I had a baby, and Mini Dot turned 4 now. It's hard to believe, he's already 4. And my daughter had cancer. She is still cancer free. Yeah, you've walked alongside me, and as my tastes have changed in my stitching and styles, we all do. It's very common. I've enjoyed watching. I'm going to also, in the description box below, put names of people that I've watched recently. Some are new to me, some I've been watching for a long time, so in case you need somebody else to watch, feel free to check that out. But I thank you for watching. I really, really do. Some of you comment. Those comments tend to come at just the perfect moment. And maybe you don't think it does matter, but trust me, it does. And I thank you for it. I love this community, and I want this community to keep growing. I want this community to keep encouraging each other. And during this holiday season, if you're getting stitching stuff, can I suggest you go with the smaller vendors if possible? A smaller stitching shop, or you want to buy a project bag, look at So Much to Love, made by Mama Joan, Garand, Toten Bags, Stitch and Button, Kindred Stitcher. There are a number of smaller, 1-2 man shops or woman shops that could use your business. We want to keep the small businesses going in this weird COVID time. My uncle had COVID. He's 75. He has 3 stents in his heart. He's been doing the masks when he goes to a store and the whole bit. And he just thought he had a bad cold. And then my hairdresser, she had it, and she has asthma, and it kicked her asthma. But she didn't have to go into the hospital. And some people have to go in the hospital. It's one of those things you can't predict who, you can't predict how strong. But yeah, well, do what you can to build your immune system. Vitamin D, water, exercise. You think, oh, I'm just going to walk around the kitchen. Trust me, that helps. Especially when you've been stitching for like an hour. Get up and just walk around your room. Use the restroom. I was talking to my chiropractor because when I was sewing, I was getting stiff neck because I was looking down all the time. And he said, I know that there's really no special stretches or anything, but just getting up and walking around for 5 minutes, he said that will line everything up and your body will thank you for it. So I thought I'd pass that little tip along. He's given me other exercises for other things. But if you notice you get kind of stiff after a while stitching, which is understandable, you sit in the same spot, just get up and walk around the room. Take the dog, let the dog out to go to the bathroom, walk to the mailbox, whatever. Just give yourself that little thing. It'll boost your immune system overall. And eat those foods that, even your veggies. You have to eat your veggies. But yeah, I'll let you go. And I hope if you're in the States, you have a good Thanksgiving, because to me, Thanksgiving is a story about 2 very, very different groups of people who came together and taught each other things. They helped each other in times, and they came together and celebrate a meal. There's so much, celebrating a meal with somebody is a huge deal. So I hope that you have a good Thanksgiving, no matter how large or small, virtual, in person, hopefully in person if possible, because those personal connections are important. But I will see you in December, probably 2 weeks maybe. It'll probably be before Christmas. No guarantees. It's 2020. I don't think guarantee and 2020 belong in the same sentence. So I will talk to you all later. Enjoy your stitching. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Don't let fear rule your life. It's not worth fear ruining your life. Use your brain and make your decisions. And I will talk to you all. Love to you all. Bye.